Thank you for joining us today. With me is a special guest, Ruth Ann Jansen. She's the founder of Tidy Financials. And she's here to help answer one of the questions that we hear so often. So first of all, Ruth Ann, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Zach. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Well, tell us, first of all, a little bit about Tidy Financials. What is Tidy Financials?
Well, Tidy Financials is a company that I founded about 2 years ago, and what we specialize in is helping individuals get all of their financial affairs tidied up, like setting up best products, best practices, and just basically tips and techniques to help people keep their financial life organized.
Great. Well, one of the questions that we've had recently kind of revolves around crisis. And we've heard people say that, what should we be focusing on during a crisis like this from a financial standpoint? How do we navigate our finances during a crisis?
Well, that is something that's probably on more people's mind than we'd like during these kind of historic, unsettling times. And something that I have been working on my clients with, which is really taking a look at the components of your budget, which are two simple things: your income and your expenses. Those things can be more or less complicated, kind of depending on your situation. Personal finance is just that. It's very personal. But one thing I wanted to kind of hone in on today, because I think it's important during these like short little segments to have kind of an action item or a takeaway. And so the one thing I'm going to encourage individuals to do with regard to keeping their finances tidy, especially during this crisis time, is go ahead and take a look at all of those non-essential expenses, things that you are spending your money on a monthly basis that are sort of not in that, what I would call, essential wheelhouse, things like rent, mortgage, utilities, car, health, prescriptions, food, clothing, things that you kind of need to be a human on this earth. But maybe the things that are more in the basket of entertainment, meals out, hobbies, things like that. I've sat down with a couple different clients, and we've actually kind of dug into even going about 6 months back and taking a look at especially things that are on like an auto renewal, subscriptions, things that you may not have been giving much attention to in the past, but really need to be probably more focused on in these times of uncertainty. The other thing is, with respect to that, I encourage my clients to kind of take a look at it with the mindset of resetting versus like taking this knife and like cutting all your expenses and you feel all like depleted and sad when it's over. Really just more looking at those things you're spending your money on and saying, hey, are these things necessary? Are these things bringing me joy? Are these things in line with my values? And really, do they make sense in this environment which we're in now that seems to be kind of, I hate to use this phrase, but sort of the new normal going forward? And so really taking a hard look at those. And most of my clients have been pretty successful in finding what I'd call some kind of low-hanging fruit and ways that they can really cut back and kind of use that money in different and better ways for their current situation.
Wow, that's really great. I especially like the comment you made about the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. I know my wife and I, we've had an opportunity during this time to look at some of our expenses and some things that maybe we used to spend money on in the past that we're not now, just simply because we don't have the opportunity to. And we've looked at that and said, my goodness, is that stuff really bringing us joy? Did we really appreciate spending money on that? And what if we repurposed those dollars for other things? And we've had the opportunity to do that. And it's been such a blessing to us. And I think it's improved our quality of life. And so I think that's a great point. Hey, listen, I wanted to thank you once more on behalf of our team and those that are watching for joining us today and helping answer that question. I also wanted to let everyone watching know that we've provided Ruth Ann's contact information below at her website. That's tidyfinancials.net. And, her slogan is Tidy Financials, Tidy Life. And I love that so much because I want to have a tidy life. I want things to be in order. It makes me happier.
That brings you joy, right? Tidy. Yes. That's great. Well, I want to thank you too, Zach. I love the way you're kind of reaching out to different service providers and trying to bring in some kind of diverse and relevant content to help, not just your followers, but just LinkedIn users in general. So I appreciate this opportunity very much. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I look forward to our next chat.